With recent changes to the fishing skill and May and Marina currently being in office, now is a perfect time to try and max out your fishing skill in Hypixel Skyblock. So today, I'm going to be showing you part 1 of my ultimate fishing progression guide, where I'll be showing you how to go all the way from fishing 0 all the way to fishing level 27. If you want to see part 2 of this video, where I show you how to go from fishing 27 to fishing 50, then make sure to like and subscribe, as part 2 will come once we hit 300 likes. Also, join our Discord, discord.gg/Kudra, to keep up to date with the latest guide and money making methods there. Without further ado, let's get on to the video. Before we get into the guide, there's a few things that I need to go over. The first is that you shouldn't rush fishing as soon as you start a new profile. There are other skills, for example mining, farming and combat, which are way better for the early game, so I'd recommend going into those at least a little bit before you start fishing. Also, you should go and get a money making method before you start fishing, as fishing can be an expensive skill to get into, and also doesn't make much money itself until you max it out. So it's worth having at least 50 million coins to work with before you start fishing, ideally. Good early game money making methods include things like bazaar flipping and the rift. If you want to see my beginner's guide, then I'll leave it linked in the top right now, so check that out if you haven't already. Once you have progressed a little bit and have some money to work with, you will then be ready to take on fishing. So let's get into the guide. For early game fishing XP, you have two options. First option is to use the new can of worms. These are quite expensive but a really good way of earning early game fishing XP. These cans of worms are going to have a chance to give you fishing XP. With the loot you can see on screen now, on average you're going to be getting 428 fishing XP per can of worms. You should use these can of worms until you hit fishing level 17, as this is when we can buy some decent gear. To get this, you're going to need a total of 147,425 fishing XP. In total, if we do the math, in 14745 divided by 428 average fishing XP, you're going to need 344 cans of worms. If you go to the bazaar and create a buy order for this, it's going to cost you in total about 6 million coins at the moment. So it's expensive, but it's not too expensive. It should only take you about 20 minutes of the rift or bazaar flipping, or another money making method if you have it. If we test these out, as you can see, we can get things like fishing XP, 2,000, 1,000 or 500, or alternatively you can get some different types of bait. This bait you can just sell straight back to the bazaar. So this means in total, the 6 million coins you spend, you will get some money back from the baits. Not a lot, but some. And you would also get some money back from leveling up your fishing skill. As you can see, you're going to get some money, 10,000 coins or so per skill level up. The second option is going to be to come over to the Moby MC, who can be found at these coordinates in the top left of my screen, inside the glowing mushroom cave, which can be found on the mushroom desert island. When talking to him, you can buy these empty chum buckets costing 2,000 coins and 8 glowing mushrooms each. If you go to the bazaar, find glowing mushrooms, if I can spell it correctly, then let's buy 8 of them. This will cost us 4,000 coins in total. Then go to empty chum bucket and buy it. This will cost you an additional 2,000 coins or 6,000 coins in total. Then you can place it down and then buy 10 chums. As you can see, before we put them in the bucket, our fishing level is at 4,312.5 XP. Once we put them in, just like that, if we go back to our fishing menu, you can see we just managed to get 100 XP from that. 100 XP every time you fill up one of these buckets. And bear in mind, I know you can craft it in the crafting recipe, however this will not give you fishing XP. In total, to get to fishing level 17, this will take you about 1,470 chum buckets. You can do about one of these every 2 seconds, so to do all of them, it's going to take you about an hour or so. In terms of choosing which method to go for, it doesn't really matter. It just depends whether you prefer choosing time or money. It really is up to you. Personally, I prefer the can of worms method, however you may seek a different method. So, now that we're fishing 17, that's the easy part out of the way. We're now going to need to buy some new gear. The first thing you're going to want to get is the Rod of Champions with the following enchants: Expertise 1, Angler 6, Blessing 5, Caster 5, Frail 6, Luck of the Sea 6, Lore 6, Magnet 6, and Piscary 5. And this should cost you only a few thousand coins. Expertise is the only expensive enchant here. You can leave out if you wish, but we're going to be upgrading this rod and it's good for fishing XP. So if you want to maximize your fishing XP gain, then get the Expertise enchant. You're also going to want to put the Pigeon Reforge as well as also a fine aquamarine gemstone. The parts on the rod, we'll get onto those in a minute. You're also going to want to get a full set of sponge armor with the calcified reforge and again a fine aquamarine gemstone. By the way, if you want to apply gemstones, you can come to this area in the Dwarven Mines. The entrance is just over there. Walk down here, turn left, and here is the gemstone grinder. The reason we're using the calcified reforge and not a better one like Festive or Submerge, which gives more fishing speed and secret chance, is because those are massively expensive. So you can get them if you can afford them. However, if you're trying to keep to a budget, then the calcified will do perfectly fine for now. In terms of your weapon, you can either use like a melee weapon, for example the warped aspect of the void or warped aspect to the end is a good option for the early game, or something like the fireball wand if you're going down the mage route. It really is personal preference here. You're also going to want to come to the fishing merchant and buy the full set of angler equipment. This will give you some additional sea creature chance and fishing speed as well. For your accessories, you're going to want to put it on sighted if you're going for an intelligence and mage setup like the fireball wand. Alternatively, if you're going for melee, you can put it on something like bloody or something else which maximizes your damage. I'd recommend having at least 200 magical power identity layer doesn't make too much of a difference. The more magical power you have, the better. Another thing to mention with accessories is that you can enrich them. For legendary and mythic talismans, you can enrich them to give plus 0.3% secret chance. This may not seem like a lot, but if you put it on all your talismans, it does add up really quite nicely. Also, if you have different enrichment, you can use the enrichment swapper to get them over to secret chance. You don't need to buy a new enrichment and apply it again. Also, if you have a beacon, you can power this up and give yourself up to plus 6 secret chance at max. In terms of your pet, you're going to want a flying fish pet. A legendary level 100 one can be very expensive. If you can't afford this, then feel free to go for a lower rarity one and upgrade it over time. In terms of the item, you're going to want to get a washed up souvenir for the extra 5 secret chance. You can also use an Ammolite pet if you've got a high mining and hard mountain level, that will be better. However, of course, if you're early game in fishing, you're probably early game in mining as well. So, your choice there. If you want to maximize your fishing skill XP gain, you can also get a level 100 legendary squid pet, which will give you an additional 30% fishing wisdom. However, bear in mind, if you do this, you are also going to need an auto pet rule 2-pack. This can be bought from the bit shop for 21,000 bits or on the auction house for about 30 million coins. If you get this, you're going to want to set your auto pet rule to on throw fishing hook, equip your fishing pet, either the ammonite or the flying fish, and on enter combat, equip your squid pet to maximize your fishing XP gain. This is very expensive again, get it if you can, but if you can't, don't worry too much. To complete our setup, we're going to need the glowing mushroom mixin, which is going to cost you about 900,000 coins. This will give you an additional 30 fishing speed, as well as also you're going to be wanting to use the fish bait. This will give you an additional 45 fishing speed, and only costs 400 coins per, so pretty cheap and affordable. Bear in mind also, you should always have your booster cookie and gold pot active, otherwise you're losing out on a lot of wisdom and a lot of stats as well. So make sure you have this active, it's really helpful. Now you're actually ready to start fishing for the first time. You're going to want to come and talk to this NPC, Fishwoman Enid. Her coordinates will be on the screen now. Then you can come and fish in this pond and she's going to require you to fish up one singular fish, which should be pretty straightforward. Once you've done that, you can talk to her and she's going to send you over to the next NPC. It can be found over here at the new fishing outpost. He's going to be called Fisherman Gerald. He's going to want you to fish up a rusty ship engine from this body of water here. Again, this should be pretty straightforward, just keep on going until you catch the item. Then, once that's done, you can come and talk to Captain Baja. Here you're going to give him the rusty ship engine, which you find, and then you're going to be able to travel over to the Backwater Bayou. Once you're here, you can talk to Junker Joel. Here you're going to give you a junk sinker, as well as also have this shop. Here you're going to want to buy a speedy line as well, costing 8 busted belt buckles, which these can be bought from the bazaar for currently approximately 393,000 coins. Again, here it's fairly cheap, a little bit expensive perhaps, but for the plus 10 fishing speed, definitely worth it. Here as well, you can also upgrade your angler equipment into the backwater equipment, which will give you some additional fishing speed and secret chance as well. Pretty cheap here again, only costing 8 rusted coins per piece. For a total of 32 rusted coins, this is going to cost you approximately, if we look on the bazaar, 580,000 coins. Again, definitely worth it. Once you've talked to Joel over there, you can come over here and talk to Roddy. Here you'll be able to apply your speedy line and your junk sinker. We're not going to worry about hooks for now. Then our setup is as good as we can get it for now, and we can start fishing. You're going to want to fish in these things called hotspots. They'll give you an additional buff when you're fishing, as well as also allow you to catch unique sea creatures. Whenever you fish up a sea creature, enable your 5-hour wand or use your weapon to kill the sea creature, and to keep on doing this for now. You're going to want to do this until you reach fishing level 20. Now that we're fishing 20, there are a few different upgrades that we've unlocked which we can put onto our equipment and set. First of all, we have the hotspot hook and hotspot sinker. Both these will cost about 13 million coins each to craft, can be a bit expensive again. These aren't technically required, but they will speed you up as they will allow you to catch more hotspot creatures. Both these fairly simple to craft and can be crafted at fishing skill level 20. You can then go and apply these at Roddy again. The next thing is upgrading your Rod of Champions into the Rod of Legends. This will require 2 stacks of enchanted lily pads. However, this will require lily pad collection 9. If you don't have this, you can get a friend of yours to craft it for you, or alternatively, you can go into Hub 1 and get people to craft it for you there. However, bear in mind, always take collateral when trading away your items, otherwise you do run the risk of being scammed. This will give you an additional 15 fishing speed, 2 secret chance, as well as also other buffs, as a higher rarity will mean there's more effectiveness from your reforge, as well as also your gemstones. So this is definitely a worthy upgrade. Now that you've got these upgrades, you're going to want to keep on fishing in the Backwater Bayou until you reach fishing level 24, then we can get some new upgrades. After a bit more fishing, you should then reach fishing level 24, and this is going to unlock you some new upgrades. First is of course going to be the shark scale armor. This can be crafted with all of your sponge armor, which you already own, plus 8 enchanted shark fins in total, so it shouldn't cost too much at all to upgrade. And also it's going to give you a really nice buff, an extra 0.5% secret chance per piece, as well as also being a higher rarity, This means the effect from things like reforges and gem zones will be much higher. Additionally, also now, if you can afford it, you should be putting submerged onto your armor, as this will increase your secret chance massively. As you can see, at legendary, it'll give you plus 0.9% secret chance per piece. However, you will be giving up a bit of fishing speed. You can also upgrade to the final variant of the water fishing rod, being the Rod of the Sea. This is going to cost you 4 greater white shark teeth, as well as also 4 enchanted shark fins. In total, this gives another plus 2 secret chance and another plus 15 fishing speed, as well as also unlocking another gemstone slot and also being high rarity. As mentioned earlier, this can be a huge buff. Now that you've got this new armor set and new rod, you're pretty much ready to go on your final grind to fishing level 27, and then you'll unlock lava sea creatures. However, there is one thing you need to do before you reach fishing level 27, and that's trophy fishing, to unlock the bronze trophy hunter armor. I'm not going to go into full details on trophy hunting in this video, however I will leave a link to be determined trophy hunting guide in the pinned comment and also in the top right of the screen right now. I'd recommend going and checking that video out and getting your bronze trophy hunter armor before you reach fishing level 27. This is because once you reach level 27, you're going to be able to fish up sea creatures, but it's going to massively hamper your race when trying to get the bronze trophy hunter armor. The bronze armor in itself is going to stop you from catching sea creatures, which makes catching trophy fish a lot easier. So that's the reasoning behind getting it before fishing level 27. So there you have it. That should be everything you need to get up to fishing level 27 in Hypixel Skyblock. If you want to see part 2 of this video where I show you how to go from fishing 27 all the way up to fishing 50, then make sure to like and subscribe, as I'll be making part 2 once this video hits 300 likes. Also, join our Discord, discord.gg/Kuja, to keep up to date with all the latest money making methods and guides as well. For example, we just made pool investments, which nearly doubled our coins back in less than a week, so join today to keep up to date with those. Thank you so much for watching, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.